James 4, 1 through 3. Where do wars and fightings among you come from? Don't they come from your pleasure? Just that war in your members. So what it's saying is Christians fighting come from the flesh. It isn't of God. Satan does have influence in that, I believe, but it's ultimately, most of the time, the flesh. Because what we want, we're willing to fight for, and it causes disagreement. As Christians, we're not to get what we want. We're to make what God wants what we want, and to strive and do His will. Now, this will cause conflict as well, but it shouldn't cause conflict with the brothers. When it does, it means the other person ain't in the right. So it ain't just necessarily us seeking ourselves. They could be too causing the division. Ultimately, we all Christians should seek God, and He'll die down most of this division. The rest will be where we have to defend against Satan attacking us, which we come together in the name of the Lord to handle, so to avoid division. Verse 2, chapter 4. You lust and don't have. You kill, covet, and can't obtain. You fight and make war. You don't have because you don't ask. So what it's saying is, out of all this stuff we want, oftentimes we don't have because we don't seek God to give it to us. We try to do it by our means. We try to take it by our means instead of just asking Him and waiting for it. Most of the time God wants to give us what we seek. But instead of us doing everything to obtain it, the only thing we need to do is seek Him. Because if it isn't something He's willing to give us, then it's something we don't need to want. But if it is, if we're going to get it without Him, it ain't something we want. Verse 3. You ask and don't receive because you ask with wrong motives, so that you may spend it for your pleasures. So what he's saying is, these people's fightings are because of their pleasures. They're seeking the flesh. They're asking to fulfill the flesh. While certain desires of our flesh aren't bad, desiring fellowship, desiring kids, desiring things to take care of life, desiring money to buy things, desiring a relationship. All these things ain't bad. They can become bad desires of the flesh depending on how we act it. And if it's solely the desire of the flesh, then it's wrong. But if the desire is, okay, I want a better paying job so I can provide more for my family, okay, there's a spiritual sense to that. Rather than just, I want a better paying job so I have money, because I like money. That's completely flesh there. So we got to also discern this. But if God says no, we need to be willing to accept it and be like, okay, Lord, what is it that you want now, then? And oftentimes we don't take that next step. And oftentimes we see, okay, I need more money to provide for my family. But we don't pray about it. We just got this new job, pays more money, I'm taking it. Which seems reasonable. But if we don't pray about it, God would have known that, okay, this job is a corrupt place and it's a place I don't need to be. And God would have been like, if you would have just prayed, I would have let you know. I had a job lined up for you that would have been perfect. And oftentimes that's exactly how we act. And it causes the division because while we do that personally, there are people who are saying, you don't need to do this. Seek God. Pray about it. And we're like, no, this is what He wants me to do. And it causes conflict. Because we're doing what we want rather than what God wants. And that always causes conflict. And when we have conflict with God, it will show through our relationships with other people that are connected with God. It may not show with the world, but it will show with the church and other believers.